Happy hump day, everybody. Back again with yet another video. I hope everyone is enjoying their week so far. Hope everyone is accomplishing all of their goals that they got going on. Today was a pretty good day. It's been a pretty good week for the most part. I've been upping my gym intake and going really hard in the gym lately. So that's something that I really wanted to get accomplished, that I'm able to do and been doing. So kudos to me for that. Outside of that, today's video is going to be about how you cannot be right for the wrong person. All right. So, again, you will never be right for the wrong person. And I think that a lot of people overlook this concept when especially in mostly dating, but it also can apply for really most of your life, all in all aspects when it comes to other people being in your life. You will never be right for the wrong person. And what that means is that if you have to if you have to convince someone of your worth, if you have to buy someone gifts, if you have to, do certain things to convince them of your worth, those people are simply not for you. Period. End of story. And we need to learn to move on from people like that. And it's not to say that they are bad people, but they're just simply not for you. And that's okay. That's something that we have to come to grips with. That is okay. Not everybody is for everybody, but the people that are for us will be for us, and the people that aren't. But you need to be able to decipher who is who and who you should keep around and who you shouldn't. If you're, like I said, if you're just finding yourself having to always, convince someone and, put extra effort into convincing them, like literally convincing them of your worth, of your character, of your, your morals and all your values and things like that, those people are not for you, and chances are that they're in your life or around your circle for ulterior motives and the wrong reasons. And you need to get them away from you as quickly as possible. They are only going to hinder your life, they're only going to pull you down, and they're not going to be there for the right reasons. It's not going to be a good symbiotic relationship, and you're going to find yourself always giving all the time. And that's not fun. That is not fun. Um it ends up being like a manipulation kind of, really, because what you're basically saying to that person is, "Hey, I know that I have to convince you of my worth, and I'm willing to do whatever that takes to convince you of that." And maybe you will convince them one day, but you're just going to find yourself in a position where you're always having to up the ante to prove your worth. And the fact of the matter is that you should know your worth. You should know what you bring to the table, and you should know that you are someone worth value. And it may not be the value that they're looking for, but you don't want to end up in a situation where you're being used, where you're being manipulated, where you're being just put in a situation where you always have to prove yourself. And that's just simply not something that in 2023 we're not interested in doing anymore. In 2023, we are not proving our worth to anyone. We are we are creating and being in relationships and partnerships with people that already know our value, that already understand what we bring to the table. And that right there creates a very fruitful relationship or partnership that you can then build on and create into something possibly much better. But if you find yourself having to always convince and compete for someone's attention and affection and love and care and all these different things, you're just going to be end up holding yourself back and possibly holding them back. I mean, you're really not even doing them any favors, to be honest. You're just giving them everything they want and allowing them to just benefit from that relationship without really probably having to put in any effort or very minimal effort into showing what they bring to the table. So, yeah, I mean, that is something this year that we collectively need to make sure we're working on. And like I said, it can also spill into like business opportunities and things like that. If you're I heard it was like a TikTok I was watching, and they were talking about how basically like you don't want to be there's a difference between a person that is actively looking for a job and, like, say the employer calls you back, and you're always ending up having to call them, check up on the application status, see if everything's going well, what time do you need to come in for the interview. Yes, that's a job that may possibly work out, but the ulterior and better scenario would be a job that is calling you, making sure that you're on your game, making sure, like, letting you know, calling, coming to you, meeting you where you are, and saying, "Hey, I need you here at this time. When are you going to be available?" Calling you and saying like, "What day can you start?" Things like that. That is a more positive thing to go into, as opposed to what I just discussed in the beginning, where you're always having to chase them down. Situations like that where you always have to chase people down, whether it's work situations, relationship situations, stuff like that, those situations are very low interest. And those situations aren't always going to be very fruitful for you, if at all, for the most part. You're going to just find yourself always wondering, and for the most part, you're always going to be disposable as well. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to always be disposable to something or somebody. If you're always having to show someone that, hey, this is why you should love me, this is why you should allow me in your life, and you're pedestalizing that person, and you're never really allowing them to see your worth, to know your worth. And there's nothing positive that's ever going to be able to come from that situation. That is just not going to happen. We as people on our purpose, and people in general, should always put ourselves in situations that involve high interest. High interest meaning that you don't have to guess. Someone who knows your value, someone who knows what you're worth, they're never going to make you guess about if they know that or not. You're going to know for a fact. You're going to be able to feel that they know your value, they know your interest. They know these things already, and they're going to make sure that they let you know. It is way easier, especially for all my men out there, it is way easier to date a woman that has high interest for you and shows you that she knows your value as a man and whatever it is that you bring to that table, as opposed to someone who has low interest to you in you, and you're always having to chase them down, you're always having to start the conversations, you're just always going to them. They're never even meeting you halfway. You always have to go to them for answers and conversation and anything like that. It's like pulling teeth all the time. And that is super exhausting for all my guys out there. We've all been there as men. It is super exhausting always having to chase someone down like that, as opposed to, Susie around the corner who's been eyeing you for years, and she's just always hitting you up all the time. She's damn near annoying you because she knows your value. She sees what you're worth. But a lot of times, us fellas and women too, we pass those people up because like I said, it can be annoying sometimes, but those are the people that you want to have in your life. You want to have someone that sees exactly what value you bring to the world, what you bring to them. You want those people in your life. It's only going to help you further yourself and, do move on to do better things or create positive situations. So again, this video is about being able to identify those things, and that you're never going to be the right person for the wrong person. So I hope you guys like this video. If you have anything to say, I would love what you have to say in the comments. And as always, please follow and subscribe, and we will see you again.